Yeah, website. We got it.
Keep it to it.
Cited, that's the word, appropriate word. There's a site.
I'm good. Go ahead. Well, yeah, I'm going to.
All right, Jamie.
Yep.
Ready?
You're ready.
Okay, we're gonna call the December Graphics Commission meeting into session. I know we have some preliminary business for the appeal, but we have a couple folks that aren't here yet. Apparently there's some traffic on 71 or something, so we'll just call first case.
That sounds great.
Okay, so case number GC 23-037, 3464 Sullivan Avenue. Please come forward. Oh, sure. You do it while he's sitting there. Our city attorney would like to swear in any folks that are sitting here today that intend to testify in this hearing, not the BZA hearing, but the Graphics Commission hearing. My understanding, the BZA is right after.
Right, so if you're here for the Graphics Commission meeting and you potentially will testify during any of the cases for the Graphics Commission, not BZA, just graphics, raise your right hand. You swear or affirm that the testimony you will provide will be the truth to the best of your belief and or knowledge, if so say I do.
I do.
Very good. And Mr. Trimmer, your case.
Yep. TC 23-037, 3464 Sullivan Avenue is located on the east side of Sullivan Avenue, approximately 50 feet west of Durer Road. It is zone C4 commercial and part of Greater Hilltops area conditions. The 0.63 acre site is developed with a fuel station. Surrounding uses are retail establishments to the east, south, and west, and a commercial building to the north. The applicant proposes to reface a pole sign that was installed without permits and turn it into a monument sign. Variances are being requested to legitimize the existing setback of the sign and to allow automatic change of copy for fuel price. Planning continues to request a reduction in height to no more than 6 feet tall for consistency with the Columbus citywide planning policies. C2P2 recommends monument style signs no taller than 6 feet and discourages excessively large signs. Additionally, C2P2 recommends parking lots should be screened from view from public right of way and adjacent development, and a combination of walls, mounds, trees, shrubs, and or landscaping. As such, staff encourage landscaping and screening around the proposed signage to screen the parking and protect the signage, but do not condition support on this request. The Division of Traffic Management had no comments, and the Greater Hilltop Area Commission recommends approval of this request. Staff recommends approval. Staff consistently recommends approval of automatic changeable copy for fuel pricing signs and the commercial overlays. Although C2P2 encourages ground signs not to exceed 6 feet in height, the applicant's proposal converts an existing pole sign to a monument sign. Additionally, the sign's height and setback were reviewed by the Division of Traffic Management and were determined that they did not pose any safety-related concerns. Mr. Chair.
Go ahead. I know we were here last month and we tabled it, and definitely looks like you've listened to staff's recommendations and modified the application.
Yes, and I appreciate the staff helping me understand what they were recommending. When I was thinking monument sign before, I was thinking something very short. I had no idea that it would be possible to potentially convert this to a monument sign as it stands. The one issue that I guess may still be outstanding is how wide we need to make the skirt. Traffic safety had a comment that as long as the skirt did not extend within that 15-foot area behind the right-of-way, they had no objections. So in that case, we would need to make the skirt about 5 feet wide in order that the skirt doesn't extend within 15 feet of the right-of-way, because the sign is 12.5 feet. But we can make that skirt whatever width the board prefers.
How big is it pictured in there?
Right there, that is a 5 foot on the left, a 4 foot on the right.
So you'll just cut it down a little bit on each side.
That's correct. We can cut it to whatever size you want.
Well, it's got to be as wide as the
sign to be considered a monument sign. And traffic did come back and say they were fine with it being 12.5, which is length, or the width of the sign as it is now.
And we would be happy to do that as well.
It wouldn't be that.
It would be as wide as the actual sign.
At the top.
Which we also had. That's
Oh,
one of
so
the-
it'd be actually flush all the way down.
Yeah, yeah. This technically is not a monument. So. But he does have, he does have a rendering.
Yes, sir.
A rendering of it as requested for 12.5.
It's just a gray box, but.
We admit that into evidence?
We can stand.
Are you okay with, well, first of all, did you were sworn in, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you're okay with the condition recommended by staff, automatic changeable copy will be for fuel prices only?
Oh, yes.
And also then an additional condition that the width of the skirt will be consistent with this rendering that you just submitted?
Yes, yeah, we could do any width you all prefer, that would be great.
Good? Anyone have any questions? Anyone else in the audience like to speak to this case? Can I have a motion to,
I'll make a motion to accept the finding of facts as presented by staff and the applicant.
I'll second.
okay, we can vote on finding the fact.
Mr. Cavalers?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Rumbaugh?
Yes.
Chair Cooperman?
Yes, and can I have a motion to approve the application based on the finding of fact?
I'll make a motion to approve the application based on the finding of facts with the conditions of width.
But put the application number in there.
Oh.
Be referenced.
Yeah, sorry. Application GC 23037.
Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we can go ahead and vote.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Rumbaugh?
Yes.
Mr. Cavalers?
Yes.
Chair Cooperman?
Yes, and your application is approved. Thanks. We need to sign, you need to sign this one, right? Sign it?
Yeah, that's what this thing.
Okay, take it. I already hear that. Okay, next case. Here it is. Next case is application number GC 23-039-4881 Roberts Road. Please come. And Jamie, this is your case.
Yes. Okay, GC 23-039 is located at 4881 Roberts Road, is located at the southeast corner of Roberts Road and Walcott Road. The site is on CBD Commercial Plan Development and is located within the far west side area commission. This site was subject to Graphics Commission Action 23-018, which the ground sign was approved in the northwest corner of the site. However, the applicant is now installing ground sign at the northeast corner of the site. The site is being developed with sheets, fuel station, and convenience store. Surrounding uses include a single unit residential dwelling directly south, pharmacy to the east, the fuel station and convenience store to the north, an office building to the northeast, and multi-unit residential to the east and southwest. The applicant proposes to install a ground sign at the northeast corner of the site, adjacent to a multi-unit residential development. It requests variances to reduce the setback of the ground sign from an abutting street, A, from 15 feet to 12 feet, and B, from the side lot line of a residentially zoned district from 10 feet to 6.5 feet. You're also requesting variances to increase the portion of the ground sign displaying automatic changeable copy from 50% of the graphic area to 59.4%. Planning division is generally supportive of the proposal, but does not support the ground sign as presented. The Tracy Roberts area plan states excessively large signs that interfere with visual character are discouraged. Staff would be supportive of signs which reduce 6 feet in height, as it would align more with the plan's recommendation. The Division of Traffic Management has no issues, and the Far West Side Area Commission recommends approval. Again, just like with the previous request in GC 23018, Staff was generally supportive of the proposal as a whole. However, we were recommending this to a ground sign because as stated in the preview, Robert's area plan, excessively large signs that interfere with visual character and discourage. Staff would support this sign if it was reduced to 6 feet. Mr. Chairman.
Okay, you were sworn in, correct?
I was sworn in.
Okay,
Go
go ahead.
Yes, so this is, we were here earlier on the same site. And in this situation, we are needing to move our original sign from the northwest corner, which it was going to be very close to just that corner, to the northeast corner. When all the utilities right and the landscaping plan and the sidewalk and everything else was identified, there just wasn't enough space for the sign at the northeast corner. So Sheets was looking for another location for this particular sign. And the safest place they could find is in this this northeast area. It is an area that is near a residential area. So obviously we're looking for a setback variation from the 10-foot to the 6.5 foot. It's also in an area that's very close to, it's very close to the entrance, the access road off of Roberts Road. So we need to have a variance from the road from 15 feet to 12 feet. And then we need the changeable copy variance for the identification area. This Sheets realizes that this is close to a residential area, and they've provided a robust landscape plan to place along this area. They're intending to put many different trees, shrubs, and perennials and this sort of thing. There's an existing fence along the residential area as well. That's the hashed line there you see on the east side of that particular site plan. This was reviewed by the area commission. Residents were available for comment and did comment, and it was approved by the area commission.
It
was approved? It was approved by the area commission.
Explain again the reason you're moving, you want to move from the northwest to the northeast corner, because utilities, please.
There was utilities, a sidewalk, some additional landscaping that was required to that side of the building that faced Roberts Road. There just wasn't, by the time we did all that, there just wasn't enough space.
Are the variances you're requesting in this application the exact same that were in the previous application?
This would be, there would be different ones here, specifically because we are close to a residential property line. We need a variance from the residential property line. If we were on the other side of the site, we would not need that.
Oh, got it.
So the code requires a 10-foot setback from a residential side yard line. We're asking for 6.5 feet for a variance of 3.5.
Anyone else have any questions?
So the monument sign's actually angled to the property line, so that's,
There's a slight angle.
yeah.
It's angled, because the curve there is angled.
You've got landscape screening along the bottom edge of the sign.
We do, of course. It's required to have
Yeah,
that, yes.
because that doesn't show up in the elevation. As to the height
It
of
does
the
not
house.
show on the elevation. They're intending to put, looks like 9 different perennial shrubs on the residential side of the sign along the base. And then they'll have at least 3 deciduous trees that you can see there. And then they're also putting a cut through into the residential area because the residents are.
Would you be willing to accept as a condition that all of the shrubs and everything, according to the landscape plan, will be installed as well?
Yes,
Well, that's condition of the CBD tax.
Oh, it is already?
yes.
Anyone else have any questions? Anyone else out in the large audience have anything they want to say? Does anyone like to submit any motion? Anyone?
I'll make a motion to accept the findings of fact as presented by staff and applicant with this application.
Can I have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Okay. We can vote on adopting the finding of fact.
Mr. Rumbaugh,
Yes.
Mr. Cavalera,
Yes.
Mr. Williams,
Yes.
Mr. Hoy,
Yes.
Ms. Augustine,
Yes.
Chair Cooperman.
Yes, and can I have a motion to approve application GC 23-039?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the application GC 23-039.
Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we can go ahead and vote.
Mr. Hoy,
Yes.
Ms. Augustine,
Yes.
Mr. Rumbaugh,
Yes.
Mr. Cavalera,
Yes.
Mr. Williams,
Yes.
Chair Cooperman.
Yes, the application's approved.
Thank you.
And next case, GC 23-041, 1400 Auto Mall Drive. I thought that was you again.
It's me again.
Mr. Kirk.
All right, GC 23-041 at 1400 Auto Mall Drive is located on the east side of Auto Mall Drive, approximately 650 feet north of Georgesville Road. For the Westland Area Commission, and existing zoning is M Manufacturing District. The approximately 5.3 acre site is currently developed with an auto sales lot. Surrounding uses include similar auto sales lots to the north, south, and west, and the I-270 umbrella to the east. The applicant proposes to repeal an existing graphics plan and replace it with a new one. New graphics plan would remove 2 existing interstate-oriented signs and add 1 pylon highway sign and a wall sign on the east elevation, with all other signage remaining the same. Planning staff note that the proposed pylon sign is inconsistent with citywide planning policies, C2P2 design guidelines. However, staff recognize the removal of 2 east-facing interstate-oriented pole signs as a mitigating factor. Staff encouraged the height of proposed sign D, which would be right here, to no more than 6 feet for consistency with C2P2 design guidelines, but they do not condition support upon this request. Division of Traffic Management has no comments. Westland Area Commission recommends approval of the proposed graphics plan, voting 9-0 in favor of approval. City Department's recommendation is likewise that of approval. Staff can recommend approval as the signage included in this plan is consistent with the surrounding signage for similar uses, and the height of the pylon sign is necessitated by the fact that it is highway facing. Chair.
Ms. Green, you've already been sworn in. Go ahead and present your case.
Great. So we were here, I think, 2 years ago, I think 2 years ago, with the graphics plan that we're now asking to be replaced. So many of these signs, at that time, 2 years ago, the building was being remodeled and new signage was being installed. And that was the reason for the graphics plan last time. This graphics plan embraces much of that same signage that's already installed. All the signage that is facing Auto Mall Drive is already there, including the ground sign that there is. That's already there because it was part of the prior graphics plan. And it is similar to other, I'm not sure if you've been to Auto Mall Drive, but most of that signage is similar to this particular sign. There are pylon signs, and they're all taller than 6 feet. And they all are various dealerships. So now the Hyundai wanted to put a new, larger interstate-oriented sign on the east side, the other side of the structure. previously, in the prior graphics plan, there were it included two existing highway signs, one that said Subaru, one that said Hyundai. They were much larger. They were pole signs, or the traditional pole highway sign. This is what the new sign that they want to put up. They're going to put it in a place that's a little more convenient for the way they park their cars. You know, the reason why they wanted to get rid of those other two large signs. This one is not as tall as the other signs that they had already removed. And then the other sign that is new is the little wall sign there, which would also be facing, which also has already been installed. It is, and it also faces the interstate. And that is what it is.
So we're just replacing an existing graphic plan with a new one.
That's correct.
Anyone have any questions? Okay, is there anyone else in this large audience that would like to speak to this case? Okay, we don't need, yeah. Robert, we don't need to vote on the finding of the fact. It's a graphics plan, so can I have a motion to approve application GC 23-041?
I'll make the motion to approve the graphics plan GC 23041.
And can I have a second?
I'll second.
And we can go ahead and vote.
Ms. Augustine?
Yes.
Mr. Rumbaugh?
Yes.
Mr. Cavalera?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Hoy?
Yes.
Chair Cooperman?
Yes, your application is approved. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
The next case is GC 23-042 1600 Long Street. Who's going for it? Oh, yeah. Didn't go sit like a, I believe. Usually, yeah.
Actually, we're,
Oh, we're gonna table this one.
yeah, they're gonna say, that's, adjustments. There was a ground sign that was believed to be, I guess grandfathered in, the existing non-conforming. It was reviewed by Division of Traffic Management, and it wasn't part of this application, but it needs to be now. Because after the review, the setback of it will need an additional variance. So for that reason, we need to pass the table and then add those variances to the application.
Got it. You're okay with that?
Yes, sir.
Can I have a motion to table GC 23-042?
I'd like to make a motion to table this.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Do we need to vote on it individually? Sure. We'll vote.
Mr. Cavalera?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Hoy?
Yes.
Ms. Augustine?
Yes.
Chair Cooperman?
Yes, then your case is tabled.
Thank you. Sorry for your time to review, but we'll be back next month.
Can't wait. Now that all the agenda is done, we can move to the appeals agenda. Jamie, anything you want to say?
Yeah, I believe that the commission has heard both arguments. You were also submitted, or evidence was submitted for you all to review now. And Robert, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it's a matter of final arguments, I guess, I don't know. We don't need to rehash the whole appeal, just if you have questions for the appellant and code enforcement.
Also, I did receive some correspondence an email correspondence from Mr. Hoy over the last week or so, just asking some questions, and I provided some legal guidance. And one of the questions was asking about whether additional questioning could take place. And so as Mr. Fraser just indicated, the hearing was adjourned, was closed. So at this point, what's left is for, if you want to allow your side to do any closing argument, if you will, or a summary of their positions, you can certainly do that. If you decide you want to take more evidence, more testimony, as the chair, you could reopen, or any of the commission members could ask to make a motion to reopen. If you want to take additional testimony, you could do that. It's just up to you.
Okay, we can call both sides up, I guess. There's only one chair, but maybe someone can pull one up.
Thank you.
Were you both were sworn in already, correct? Want to give them a couple minutes? All right.
Sure.
Who's the appellant who would go first?
Well, technically, city goes first, code enforcement,
Okay,
and then the appellant.
let's, 2 minutes each.
Okay, so I was sworn in, Margaret Lafferty, zoning specialist, code enforcement. Mr. Paul Kidwell is in the office, or is in the hearing this afternoon. In regards to the city of Columbus is stating that the property owner needs to receive permits for the exterior graphics that have been displayed on site. We acknowledge that they have been there for quite some time. However, the signs would have been required to have permits back when they were installed. So from our standpoint, we're still stating that they would need permits for that.
Okay, is there anything you'd like to say?
We have nothing further to add.
I'm sorry, could you state your name for me?
My name is Tracy Deal, TracyDiehl. My address is 6487 Hilliard Drive, Canal, Winchester, Ohio. And I represent Guitar Center as well as the property owner. And we have nothing else to add at this time. Nothing that hasn't already been submitted or stated.
Is there anyone else that wants to ask questions before we talk this over? Are you talking to yourself or? I thought you said something.
I did, I was saying, I was asking, do we need to have discussion? And do we need to decide whether?
Yeah, so if you want to ask additional questions, you can move to reopen the hearing, we'll take additional questions. If it's just discussion amongst the
Yeah.
commission, yeah, that's fine.
I believe Mike wanted to say something first.
Well, I think, and I was just gonna read off a facts checklist to make sure, I'm sorry. A facts list. So I know the city of Columbus, the staff provided a well-written documentation as to these existing conditions along with photographs and so forth, and listed 8 zoning violations. The appellant provided a response to that, to the 8 code violations as well. And I think at the last meeting, we had asked them to provide us with a copy of the lease and the drawings, which we did receive those. And I know personally, I looked through it, and in the lease, I don't know, page 48 or whatever it was, it talked about signs, and then the architectural drawings, which were dated at that time that the appellant had talked about it, was like 2001 is when these were put up. So the appellant did testify these graphics have been in existence without change or alteration since 2002. And then finally, on the information presented, it looks like the graphics, I mean, I look at the photographs real close and so forth, and they look like they're panels that are attached to the wall. And to me, I think it appears, the whole focus of this case centers around whether these graphics are designated signage of some type or advertising, or are they just photo enlargements of people doing activities such as murals, pictorials, artistry, imageries, and so forth. So looking at the information in Exhibit E talks about the definitions, and it talks about graphics. And in it, it says graphics means any communication designed to be seen from any public place utilizing letters, words, numbers, symbols, pictures, colors, so on and so forth. It goes on. But then when I look at these images, there are no words, there are no logos. I know this is the guitar store, these Guitar Center, they sell guitars. I understand that. I do see pictures of guitars, but I also see pictures of, looks to me like performers and so forth. And it's just like event. It's almost like if you didn't know it was a guitar store, you'd think it's like maybe some sort of venue of some sort where they perform. So I kind of have, I kind of don't believe that it's a sign. And I think looking at that, I'd have to feel that these aren't advertising panels. Now, I can't speak for, and I don't know, and if I remember right, the original, this original citation was brought up to all the stores in the center. And I don't know how the other people have answered their violations or whatever, but I do know from the guitar, looking at the Guitar Center, and without the logos, without the, wording, and without that, I just find it hard for me. It's a real gray area there, but I would say to me, it's an artistic, display of kind of what they do, and it isn't, you look at it, I don't get this big feeling, I gotta go out and buy a guitar or anything like that. And then on top of that, it's so far back from Morris Road, it's not a public safety issue at all. So anyways, that's looking at the facts that were presented, that's kind of how I looked at it. But I don't feel these are signs per se, but it's a matter for the rest of the commission members to decide whether they are or they aren't.
In my opinion, I think that they are graphic.
Make your mics.
Um,
I just don't know.
In my opinion, I do feel like these are graphics, and I think that I have to, I did go through it as well, and I did look at the links, and I did also read that, but there's no way to tell that these were the graphics that was up at that time. And so I don't think that can make a decision, or in my mind, I can't make a decision that these were the graphics that were there in 2001, because it could have been a different graphics and could have been changed. I don't know.
I think there was testimony to the contrary. I think the testimony was agreed and stipulated by both sides that they hadn't changed for 20 years.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm just voicing my opinion.
Yes.
I can't, and just because somebody says that doesn't mean that it's,
So both sides agree, though.
oh, okay, I didn't hear her say that.
It was stipulated, I think.
I couldn't necessarily testify that these are the exact same graphics. I could testify that I would think it would be rather difficult to remove the graphics that are there without, and you may be able to answer to that, without removing windows. So I can't imagine, there's not a lot of space.
Interrupt for a second, unless you're gonna reopen.
I'm not.
Money, they've had their opportunity, I would say this is just for commission discussion.
Yeah.
Not to.
Okay.
That's my recollection of the testimony, but go ahead.
But, well, to end what I'm saying is I think that there are graphics and so that's it. for me.
I have a real hard time with the fact these have been there for 20 years without the business owner ever getting any notice of a violation. And I think it's pretty dangerous for a business owner to be able to run their business for 20 years without getting any notification of any violation whatsoever. And then suddenly, for an unnamed reason, we heard testimony about why the hearing officer was called out to the property, but the other thing is the city has no records whatsoever of, there was testimony about not having any records whatsoever about the original applications being for the building plans for all those things. And I just don't know how that's the business owner's fault. It's the city's position, or the city has to establish that there is an actual violation. And if they don't have the records, I don't think that's the business owner's problem. To me, I agree with Mike. I do think it's not a graphic and more of artwork, if anything. And that's at least my opinion. Anyone else want to say anything? All right, are we ready to vote?
So one last thought, I guess, is that if this is approved, does that open the barn door to changing the graphic that's there to words and things later?
No, because we can only rule upon the facts that are presented to us as this day.
Okay.
I know we're not supposed to testify, but I can confirm the only way to change the graphic is to remove the window.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, each one of these cases that is presented to you is fact specific. We're making a determination based on the evidence presented to us. That's it.
You're worried that they can come in and say guitars are 59 out of 10.
Yeah, I mean,
Now that we've
it would-
allowed this to happen.
I mean, we can't dictate, I guess, what it says on it, right?
If the facts were different, the decision I think might be different. If after this date, they change that graphic, start submitting things that would then turn it into a graphic, I'm sure a new violation could be written up and given to them and would come back to us. All we're doing is deciding based on the facts presented, evidence presented in that hearing.
Okay.
Yeah, so just a reminder to do a finding of facts, and then under 3382.04, you're either reversing, affirming, or modifying the order. So if you're gonna grant the appeal, then in effect, you're reversing the code enforcement order.
Okay,
I could do. a
Yeah,
finding
go.
of facts.
go ahead.
Facts ascertained from the
You're filing a motion to approve a finding of facts based on what you're about to say.
Yes, this is a motion of finding of facts ascertained from the November meeting and the subsequent documents that were submitted. And then today's discussion. From testimony over the past 20 years, there hasn't been any zoning complaints issued concerning these sort of front graphics. Another fact was staff indicated the zoning complaint was directed to the entire shopping center. Guitar Center is addressing their zoning violation situation only, so this is only addressing Guitar Center. These graphics are situated very far back from a public right of way and do not appear to be a safety hindrance to Morris Road vehicular traffic. And then the final finding of fact is upon viewing the photographs provided by staff, the images do not show any corporate or product logos, trademarks, or wording or symbols. Basically, the photo images are concepts of band performers singing and playing instruments, including guitars.
Can I have a second to adopt the finding of the facts presented by Mike?
I'll second.
Okay, it's a step to adopt those finding of facts, just a yes or no, but with respect to the
No.
appeal is the next vote, right?
Right, yeah, and it's just, again, majority vote.
Right. So we can now vote on adopting the finding of fact as presented by Mr. Hoy.
Mr. Williams,
Yes.
Mr. Hoy,
Yes.
Ms. Augustine,
Yes.
Mr. Rumbaugh,
Yes.
Mr. Cavalera,
Yes.
Chair Cooperman.
Yes, and now, all right, this is where it gets confusing. So we're voting to sustain the appeal and overturn the code
Grant the
enforcement.
appeal.
Grant the appeal and overturn the
The
code.
language in 3382.04 says reverse, affirm, or modify the order, requirement, decision, or determination appealed from. So code initially issued the
So we're
violation.
reversing it.
So if you are granting the appeal and you're reversing the order from code enforcement, basically they'll vacate the order.
Okay, so let's vote on vacating the order, reversing the motion, just a simple yes, affirming your agreement with what I just said.
The motion would be to grant the appeal and reverse code enforcement's order.
Correct. Go ahead.
I'll make.
I think he's made a motion.
Did you make the motion?
I just said we could, we just,
Ask for a motion to do.
oh, sure, sure, go ahead.
I'll make a motion to grant the appeal and reverse the code violation that's being appealed from
Based on the finding.
based on the finding of facts.
Okay, can I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, finally, go ahead and vote.
Mr. Hoy,
Okay, now,
You say yes if you agree.
yes, I agree.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Ms. Augustine,
No.
Mr. Rumbaugh,
Yes.
Mr. Cavalera,
Yes.
Mr. Williams,
Yes.
Chair Cooperman.
Yes. Thank you. And anything else, Jamie? That's it.
Thank you.
We need-
We'll go for it.
This is just their set of the rest.
For the record, the appeal is granted. Thank you. December graphics commission has been adjourned.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah.